Shabbat Shalom and greetings to you all. Well, just about a week ago, we turned the corner. We entered a new year. We said goodbye to all curses and we welcomed all blessings. It's one of those events that's become so commonplace, we do not necessarily ever notice they occur that often anymore. Now, today's reading ends on a series of blessings given to those who deserve them the most, the children. Now, we've studied dreams and we've seen the power of the double name calling, the double dream, and we're going to see more, especially of the name calling, as we read on in the Torah. And there's many, many more to come. But in fact, the other night I had a double dream. They were separate and different, but I later realized it was a double. That meant it would come true. I sought out Joseph to ascertain the meanings, and the dream master did not fail me. Unfortunately, I wish I could remember the message, but at the time it made perfect sense, and that is when I realized that it was a double. And don't forget, we get a double New Year's, because in 2 weeks we've got the year of the snake that's going to be upon us. So if you didn't celebrate the last New Year's, celebrate that one. Now, to many people, the New Year's event is just another day, but it marks a point in time. It was and is an opportunity to examine, make changes, to cast off and to welcome, to take stock and to move forward. Now give it a thought. Think about what you can do to make this next year a better year. Think of the planet. Think of your fellow man. And I do not mean that in a gender-exclusive way, but as a synagogue, a metaphor. In this case, for humanity. Think of spreading love, not hate, support, not division, truth, not lies, freedom, not tyranny, strength, not fear. Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late, well, please don't hesitate. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. And the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Now celebrate the opportunity to welcome change. And great change has taken place with a promise to the monsters in Gaza that the hostages will be freed before the 20th, or all hell will break out. Now, that's a fantastic change, but why has it taken 15 months for anyone to make this demand and promise? And I believe it will be a promise kept if they're not released. This should have been said on day one. Let us all hope and pray that the message will be heard and will be followed. Right? The time has come to stop kowtowing. The time has come to speak strongly with conviction. The time has come to move forward, not backwards. History has demonstrated the resilience of the Jewish people, like the individual flames of the Hanukkah. We are the flames of freedom, independence, awareness, wisdom, and faith. We've survived the most brutal treatment the world has ever bestowed upon a people. We are always thrust into the eye of the storm, but we are the riders on the storm, and we will always survive. Riders on the storm. Riders on the storm. Into this house we're born. Into this world we're thrown. Like a dog without a bone, an actor out on loan. Riders on the storm. Now the Torah was the first book, the first code, the first lessons of life to blend moral, ethical, ritual law together, and hence to treat the downtrodden, the alien, the other with equality. We have been all of those, and we are the continuing flame and the unique example of not just survival, but excellence. As we continue to move forward in our community of support, encouragement, teaching, and love, we come together as a community, as a collective consciousness of seekers showing faith, any and all faith, love any and all love, because we are a fellowship, a true chavura. So we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes. It unites us all in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay, And even though together we're individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her or their own way. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody you know. Some physically, some digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, any way at all to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov, Umanai, Shevetachim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Umanai, Shevetachim Gam Yachad. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. Because we support each other in this community, so let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside a little bit of sacred time in your own sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in. We all believe in something. It's part of your kavanah, your intention that you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. And goodwill and intention are the roots of what you can control, of what you can correct. It is your intention that sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives, my friends. And it is goodwill, energy, light that we send to help heal those you need healing. Everybody needs healing and renewal. It's for everybody. Because it floats through space finding those in need. So send it out. For those you know, for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. And not just for people. It is for our pets. It is for the earth. It is the healing of the world. The tikkun olam. Part of our spiritual genetic makeup. Now, part of the healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everybody. They don't have to be sick, but it is the prayer that we always say for those who are sick. But it's for those in our hearts and our minds. So let's all send energy out for the people in need everywhere. Special thoughts and prayers for those in need of assistance, like those suffering in California, by LA because of the fires. We pray for those who need prayer. We don't have to know them. I don't know anybody there. We want health, recovery, good life for everybody around us. So let's continue to send healing prayers, especially for those hostages still held, still in prison. Let's hope they're all freed by the 20th. Let's demand their freedom. For those closer to us. For Alan, Bill and Miriam. For Callie and Carson. For me and AJ, Gabby, Trevor and Jess. For Terry and Myra. For Luke, Bonnie, Dave and Sabrina. For Maria. For Paul and Pam and Richard. For Marlu. For Shelley and Lucy. For Gloria, Winston and Inora, for loving Alana, Fern and Johnny, Kathleen, Carla and Mina, for Charles, for Marie and John, for Doria, dear Doria, Connie and Resilient Ronnie, for Tally and Mayim, for Nina and Danny, for all those suffering and in need. Let's not forget to include the familiars of our lives, all of our sacred animal friends, everywhere. For everybody you know, for the whole world. And for Rosemary. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing wishes, goodwill, and love we all send out. It just circles the world finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit, my friends, never dies. Me. Shabbat. Avotenu. Makor ha-bracha. Limotenu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Mishaberach, let us all have our spirits renewed, my friends. This is the great prayer for healing, which we call upon God to heal as He's healed before. May He who blessed Mishaberach, because all healing is a blessing. So let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. And as new things are upon us, some things are ending. One of which is the book of Genesis, the only book of the Bible that we know so far. Now, the last reading wraps things up. It covers the last days of Jacob, his bizarre blessings to his sons, his death. We also say goodbye to Joseph, the dream master. We need to close this chapter that shifted from the universe to the world and then to a family. The death of the last of that direct family, and the last of the three patriarchs, Joseph, will suddenly propel us 400 years into the future, where the book of names, Shemot, Exodus, will begin. It's a completely different type of book. This one dealt with the fall of man and the creation of our universe. And names, or Exodus as we like to call it, is about the attempt to return. And do not let the name fool you. Exodus is what it highlights, but its meaning is in the names. We'll get to that next week. Genesis 47:28, and Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. Jacob's days, the years of his life, were 7 years and 140 years. Pretty old guy. Well, Jacob's days are done. He's lived with Joseph for as long as Joseph had initially lived with him. The Bible is full of bookends, all with meaning. He knows he's dying. He calls Joseph to him. Genesis 47:29, and Israel's day, see here they refer to him as Israel, not Jacob. Israel's day to die drew close, and he called his son Joseph and said to him, if I found favor in your eyes, place your hand under my thigh. Practice kindness and faithfulness with me. Don't bury me in Egypt. I'll lie with my fathers, and you'll carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their burial place. And he said, I'll do according to your word. And he said, swear to me. And he swore to him. And Israel bowed at the head of the bed. Now, when have we seen a similar scene? A sacred vow made when someone is dying by placing your hands under the other's thigh, a connecting of one's grounding limbs to the other's reaching limbs. Yes, you're right. Abraham and his servant when he sent them to find a wife for Isaac. And you still think that chronology when you read that was actual? This is the wrap-up to the most fascinating book of antiquity, as we read of Vayechi, and he lived. We see Jacob dies and Joseph dies. But not before the brothers and Joseph all show their true colors. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid. Let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rain. Now for the brothers, their true colors, more lies and deceit. For Joseph, forgiveness. These are the true colors of each. Now we've seen that each act of deception since Jacob's birth has led to another deception that came as a recompense. Deceptions and hurt within a family can go in a perpetual cycle. In order to bring it to an end, one member of the family who's entitled to retribution must stop the cycle and forgive instead. One must rise above and be the bigger. That is what Joseph does here. This beautiful end of the story of deceptions and retributions completes an intricately embroidered narrative that followed this family from the beginning. This marks the end of an era. And what an end it is. This last part of Genesis is a strange one. Almost like someone said, hey, the book's too long. The script is dragging. Let's wrap it up. So boom, we wrap it up. Jacob makes a statement. Genesis 48:5. And now, your two sons who were born to you in the land of Egypt, they're mine. Ephraim and Manasseh will be like Reuben and Simeon to me. And your offspring that you'll have after them will be yours. They shall be called by their brothers' names with regard to their inheritance. He is taking Joseph's two sons as his own to replace his two oldest, who he has disinherited. And he blesses them. And Israel put out his right hand and placed it on Ephraim's head, and he was the younger, and his left hand on Manasseh's head. So he switches firstborn for younger, as he did to his own brother. And Joseph lets this happen. Jacob then calls his other sons to him. Genesis 49:1. Jacob called to his sons and said, "Gather, I'll tell you what will happen to you in the future days." This is not a blessing, but a series of hate-filled curses and predictions he visits on each of his 12 sons. The Nostradamus of his times. It's shocking to see a father treat his sons this way, but maybe not so shocking, not for him. And we may all know people like Jacob. Angry, fearful, hateful, resentful. And it's bad enough they choose to live life that way. But even worse is how they parent and poison their own children. No one should receive these kinds of blessings ever. He finishes the blessings and says he wants to be buried in the cave of Machpelah, the one that Abraham bought. He dies and he gets royal treatment. Genesis 52. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. And the physicians embalmed Israel. They spent 40 days on him, because that is the number of days they spent on the embalming. And Egypt mourned him 70 days. And those are the date rules for royalty. So Joseph tells Pharaoh he promised his father he'd bury him at home. So Pharaoh's entire retinue goes with Joseph to bury Jacob up in Hebron. And the Canaanite residents of the land saw the mourning of the threshing floor of Atad and said, "This is a heavy mourning to Egypt." This man's position cannot be underestimated. The mystery of just who Joseph was is staggering. This was no ordinary burial. This was a state affair. Now, often death in a family brings the members together. The past hurts and indolence forgiven, a time to gather and heal. The forgiveness mechanism at work. But, Genesis 50:15, Joseph's brothers saw their father was dead, and they said, if Joseph will despise us, he'll pay us back all the bad that we dealt to him. So the poison they had been weaned on corrupted every fiber of their being. They were sure Joseph would now seek revenge. So again they lie. They tell Joseph that Jacob, in death, ordered him to forgive them. They commanded to Joseph, saying, "Your father had commanded before his death, saying, you shall say this to Joseph, please bear your brother's offense in their sin, because they dealt you bad." They tell him Jacob told them to tell him to forgive them and let them be. They, like their father, were ruled by fear. That was their true inheritance. That is their legacy. Don't make it yours. Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid, because am I in God's place? You thought bad against me? God thought for good, in order to do as it is today, to keep alive a numerous people. And now don't be afraid. I'll provide for you and your infants." And he consoled them, and he spoke on their heart. We do not know if Jacob did in fact tell them what they said he said. He may have. It would be in his character, and it's certainly in his son's characters, to believe that Joseph was lying in wait to seek vengeance. But that is not Joseph. He has learned the beautiful art of forgiveness from his uncle Esau, and that is who he was. There are people in your life who've come and gone. They let you down. Oh, they hurt your pride. You better put it all behind, 'cause life goes on. You keep carrying that anger, it'll eat you up inside. I've been trying to get down to the heart of the matter, but my will gets weak and my thoughts seem to scatter. But I think it's about forgiveness. Forgiveness, even if you don't love me anymore. The book of Genesis ends on a note of forgiveness. Genesis 50:26. And Joseph died, and that's all we hear about Joseph's death. 110 years old. They embalmed him and set him in a coffin in Egypt. This was a unique biblical book, the only one of its kind. The God of Genesis was a different God than the God of Exodus, Numbers, or the other books. Genesis was concerned with origins. Our universe, not the universe. Our development. Our fall and attempts at growth. The formation of nations, laws, rituals. It is a book that explores the origin and development of our emotional selves, our relationships to ourselves, fellow beings, to our world, to our God, and to our spiritual practices. Exodus and Numbers are the true conclusions of the Torah. They can almost be seen as a story of the attempted return of man and his journey of self-discovery. But its God is not the same. Leviticus was the handbook of the priest and didn't fit in, and Deuteronomy, the missing book that was discovered like 1,000 years later, was most probably one of the writings of the book of law by the kings. So these other three are the three you really got to look at as being a complete story. Yes, my friends, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light in all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, an end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we're a community. We learn together, we celebrate with each other, we love each other. We share this right together, men and women equally. Let's all send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. Please do. Learn to forgive and learn to love, including yourself. Open your hearts, honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you do love them. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will in the universe, because we set in motion all that happens in our lives. It's our intention, our Kavana, our cause, our effect. It's all linked. You always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad. So acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged. That's forgiveness. But do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in your acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So keep on dreaming, my friends. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear. Follow love. It's always in front of you. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart, quiet your mind, because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness and the ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all circumstances. Love with the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief in what they mean to you. Never accept shame as a natural state, because whatever you feel, others have felt. Whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together. We learn together. We help each other, because we're each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives, so find them. Tell them what they mean, because you're never alone on your journey. Listen to the voice of God as he, she, it, them, they talks to you. And remember your connection to God and all he's created. Embody it, its soul and its spirit. It's a part of you. It's a part of me. It's a part of everything. All of us forever. Listen to the voice. God is always talking to you. Next week, when Exodus, or the Book of Names, begins, you will see they are not in Kansas anymore. Over the rainbow, way up high. There's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Someday I'll wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me. The troubles melt like lemon drops high above the chimney tops. That's where you'll fine. Well, thank you for joining me. Have a great week, and I'll see you as soon as we meet the great wizard and celebrate the miracles of life. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care.